Today I thought I would film a quick little video on going through my favorite things about the signs. It was really hard for me to narrow it down to just one thing while I was taking notes for this, but I managed, so I hope you stick around to find out what my favorite things are about the different signs. Really hope you're enjoying the content that I've been putting out lately. So far, I've been kind of on a roll lately. Hopefully I can just continue getting back into the swing of things and not take such long breaks, especially with the new viewers that I have. Thank you so much if you have subscribed recently. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just really glad that you're here. I'm thankful that you're here, that you clicked on my channel, and that you've watched any of my videos and just commented or liked or interacted with me in any way. I really appreciate that, and just that support really means the world to me, so thank you. Okay, so favorite things about the signs in my opinion. So starting with Aries, I really appreciate the resilience that Aries has. It's just so easy for Aries, and by the way, I'm just kind of speaking to the archetypes of the signs, right? So it's not necessarily the people individually, like the people with the sun sign in Aries or whatever, but just the archetype, you know, just the main signs overall energy and just what it contributes to the entire zodiac. So starting with Aries, I really appreciate the resilience of the Aries archetype and just how easily the energy is just kind of like a bounce back type of energy. They're kind of just like rubber bands, though, no matter how far you stretch it apart, it just kind of like goes back and it just continues living life, and it's like nothing ever really happened to it. Nothing really gets Aries down. It's easy for things to just kind of roll off the back of an Aries. You know, that to me is real strength. That takes a lot of strength, and that it takes strength to just keep trying no matter what happens, and no matter how many times you fall, that's never failing. It's only failing if you don't try at all. You only fail when you quit. You know, Aries just somehow always remains undefeated that way because they never stop trying, no matter how hard it is for them to reach their goals, or no matter how many times that they've been said no to. So that's my favorite thing about Aries. Moving on to Taurus, my favorite thing about Taurus is their power to just attract anything that they want without putting in much effort. And I think that it's their Venusian nature that really draws me, because I myself have very strong Mars in my chart, and so I really appreciate that Venus energy of just attracting, you know, magnetizing whatever it is that you want without really chasing after it. Taurus almost never chases after things, anything that they want. It's just like they use their, you know, just attractive energy to just get things, and they just manifest that way. So I really admire that, and I think it also might be my Taurus midheaven that really draws me towards Taurus. I admire their energy just because I guess their Taurus energy is something that like I personally sort of aspire to. I kind of see the Taurus energy as a way to success and a way towards achievement, because that's my midheaven. Yeah, I just love how the Taurus energy is just so chill, and it just doesn't have to do much to get what it wants. Like a really big lesson that I learned this past year is attracting things rather than like chasing them, because all my life, like I mentioned, I have a lot of strong Mars in my chart, and so that like all my life I just went after things, and like when I didn't get them, or when I didn't always get my way, like it would be really frustrating. And something I've been learning recently is just to let things come, and if some things are meant for me, then they will come, and that I don't have to put so much energy and effort into really chasing after things that aren't really meant for me. Taurus, that's my favorite thing about Taurus. My favorite thing about Gemini is their flexibility, and that means flexibility of their mind, flexibility of their speech, sociability, and just conversationally. I just really admire how Gemini is they can just roll with the punches like so effortlessly, so easily with whoever that they're talking to or whatever they're talking about. I think that's just the main thing that I really like about them is their sociability and their just ability to be so quick-minded, so quick-witted in their conversations, and they can literally just talk your ear off about anything and everything, and it's super entertaining to me. They have a way of just like being very flexible with their energy, with just how they are managing their day-to-day things, if that makes sense. Being very flexible with their minds is just really helpful, just really one of their strengths. They know how to like maneuver really easily throughout a conversation, and no matter what the topic is, that's just really cool to me. That's something that I really admire about Gemini. And with Cancer, my favorite thing about Cancer is definitely their intuition. They just have a way of sensing things and really understanding what's going on underneath the surface without you really having much to say about it. I mean, without you really having to explain it very well. Cancer just kind of intuits that way. That's sort of like the way that they understand people and the way that they connect with other people. And that's just one of the things that I really like about the Cancer archetype. They're really tuned into their emotions, and they just really easily pick up on that. Because of that, they easily pick up on other people's emotions and just like the energy in the room. I imagine that must be very convenient for them, but at the same time like sort of stressful and puts a lot of pressure on them, just because there's a lot of energy. There can be a lot of energy in the room, like mixed energies, and so they sort of absorb all of that, and they can feel that. They can feel the different shifting energies in the room depending on who they're talking to. But I also see that as like really interesting, like a really interesting aspect of Cancer. It's their intuition. Now my favorite thing about Leo is their ability to just command attention, whether that be through their appearance, through their just personality, through their charisma, through their humor, their generosity, and also you can't forget their famous talents. I believe that every Leo sun has a talent, even if they themselves don't really want to believe it, or they themselves are blind to it. I'm sure they have something to show to the world, something to share in the world, and something that just makes them shine. It's hard to not pay attention to them, so it's easy for a Leo to just command the attention because they are that like bright shining star in the middle of the room. They're literally the center of our solar systems as the sun. So like I really love that about them. I love that they kind of just sort of represent like the bonfire, like the raging beautiful bonfire in the middle of the circle, like that everybody just wants to crowd around and like keep themselves warm, and you know, it's just like the hearth. It's just like the center where everybody can just kind of gather around and just be happy and spread joy and positivity. And I myself have a Leo rising, but it is tainted by Chiron on the ascendant, so that definitely changes things a bit. I definitely have less of a pure Leo rising energy. I just love that through no matter what it is, like I mentioned earlier, no matter whether it's their talent, their generosity, their humor, their charisma, no matter what it is, they always just have a way of just commanding respect and admiration from other people. That's definitely going to be my favorite thing about Leo. Now, my favorite thing about Virgo is their methodical nature. The energy of Virgo is just very methodical and analytical, and that to me is like one of their biggest strengths, in my opinion. They're just so skilled at skills, no matter what that skill is. Like they could literally learn anything, and they have that similarity with Gemini of just being very flexible intellectually and mentally. So because of that agility, because of that flexibility of their minds, they're very skilled at whatever skills that they want to study or take up. And I think that has to do with their perfectionism, their famous Virgo perfectionism. They're just so good at what they do because of their methods. They just know how to be really efficient with things, and just the way that they do things is so purposeful, so deliberate. There's nothing random about it. They don't just wing it or leave things up to chance. There's just always a purpose to how Virgo does things. That's their methodical nature. It just makes sense, you know, the way that they do things makes sense. It's always going to. I really admire that about Virgo energy. Now with Libra, my favorite thing about Libra is their classic charm, their ability to just get along with anyone, literally anyone, because Libra is really famous for being very charming, just especially socially, you know, artistically, just the way that they present themselves. But specifically, I was thinking of the way that they can just get along with people. The connections that they form with people is just very, very natural, very easy, and it's easy for them to get people on their side. So I love that about them. That's like really something that I really admire about the Libra energy. It's easy for them to get you on their side, and you know, it's kind of like half of it is charm and like appealing to you, but it's also diplomacy. It's also like logic too, because not only do they know how to like appeal to your emotions or appeal to just your preferences and just letting you kind of like get your way a little bit, but they also do so based in logic, based on, you know, very clear facts. They're very clear-headed and clear-minded about how they are persuading other people. See, so it's kind of like hard for me to just choose just one thing about each sign that I really like, because one thing definitely affects the next thing. It's like I'll be talking about one thing and then it just kind of leads to something else and something else, because like literally everything has like a cause and effect to it when I'm describing the different energies of the signs. I really enjoy the sociability of Libra, and that's just one of the things that I think really helps them get other people on their side and really helps them to connect and be able to charm people. And it doesn't always necessarily have to be in a bad way or a manipulative way. It could just be literally getting along with people, you know, being really easy and natural at small talk. That's definitely my favorite thing about Libra, is their charm. My favorite thing about Scorpio is how powerful their mind is, and it's very sharp. It's just very like to the point. It's like you literally cannot get anything past Scorpio, especially Scorpio Mercury or Moon. It is that intuition that they have too, along with Cancer. One thing that really makes Scorpio as an energy set aside from the water signs is just the strength of their minds. I think is like they have a way of just like cutting straight through to the truth, getting down to the bottom of things, you know, never settling for just what's on the surface or just plain and simple what you see is what you get. They're not going to accept that. The Scorpio mind is just, it's like made of steel almost. They just know things. They just have a way of just knowing things and knowing whether you're lying or not, and just knowing like what is the undercurrent of the situation, and just, you know, without anybody really having to verbally explain it. Their mind is just that powerful because it is like really sharp logic combined with intuition. I think Scorpio's mind is really able to marry those two things, and so when they come together, when those two things come together to form like the Scorpio mind, the Scorpio perspective, it makes it really powerful. Now, what I really like about Sagittarius, my favorite thing about them, is that I really enjoy their optimism. I like that they see the brighter side of everything. To me, it sort of looks like they are untouchable, that they're like unreachable somehow. They can be really elusive in that way just because they're just always constantly moving, always constantly called to the next horizon, because of that optimism, because of that high spiritedness about them, that they're always just seeing the grass greener on the other side. And whenever I study about Sagittarius energy, like I've always been drawn to that. I've always seen that as really attractive. It's like they're just always jet setting off to the next adventure, and I love that about them. I love that fearlessness about them too, because it takes bravery to be optimistic. It takes bravery to keep giving people the benefit of the doubt, and it's also very brave to just keep seeing opportunity where other people are afraid, or or where other people have given up. So yeah, I just really love that high-spirited, optimistic nature about Sagittarius. Now with Capricorn, my favorite thing about Capricorn is their ambition and their drive to succeed. This is definitely one of the biggest trademarks of Capricorn. Definitely is always, you're always going to hear about their ambition, but like really, it's one of my favorite things about Capricorn, just because they're always wanting more. It's hard for them to settle for anything less, just because they have such high standards for not just other people but also for themselves, and they are their own worst critic. I love that they are always searching for more, that they are just always looking for ways and opportunity to climb, to get better, to just be more successful and like continue to push themselves. I love that. They just do not settle for less. They have really high expectations and really high standards, and I really enjoy the Capricorn ability to keep believing in themselves and keep, you know, pushing themselves to keep climbing higher. That to me is something, a quality about Capricorn energy that really just evokes respect. It just commands your respect and maybe even your fear, who knows. But it's easy to be envious of the person who is always like striving for more, and the person who is always like pushing higher, pushing themselves towards higher and higher goals. It's easy to be envious of that person. It's also very easy to respect that type of person or that type of energy, and so that's something that I really respect and admire about Capricorn energy. With Aquarius, I really love Aquarius's ability to come up with creative solutions. I love their creativity. I love the creativity of Aquarius because it's not like anything else. It is not like any of the other signs' creativity. Like Aquarius creativity is different from Pisces creativity, which is different from Leo creativity. It just has that very specific trademark thing about it that is not like anything else. And Aquarius creativity has to do with their ingenuity. It has to do with like their genius mind. Their minds are just like so far off into the future that none of us, it's hard for like the normal everyday person to really understand what they're talking about, but it can be in a good way. It can definitely be in a good way because their minds are just like far into the future, just way far ahead of us mere mortals. And I love that their minds can create that sort of creativity that pushes towards progress. You know, they're always looking for solutions. They're always looking for ways to improve the present and leave behind the past to make forward to like a better future. And in that way, you know, they're just really looking out for other people. They're looking out for the whole of society. It's not anything just for themselves. It's called altruism. It is that altruism that Aquarius has that kind of motivates or spurs that creative mind that they have. I love that about them. I love that their minds are always on creating solutions for progress, for just a better future for everybody. That's kind of like 3 different things I like about Aquarius all wrapped into one. But the main bottom line that I really enjoy, like my absolute favorite thing about Aquarius, is their creativity. And Pisces, for Pisces, my favorite thing about Pisces is that they can literally be whoever or whatever they want to be. They definitely have like a chameleon kind of personality. That to me is like really cool, that they can just blend into any crowd and just easily and naturally fit in. They know how to sort of shapeshift in a way in order to like match whoever it is that they're with, or no matter what scene they're in or whatever backdrop they're in. You know, they have the power to just be very flexible in that way. And I think that their chameleon personality really has to do with the way that they blend their creativity with their intuition, because it takes a lot of like imagination, a lot of like creative vision, combined with knowing where you are, knowing who you're with, knowing what the situation calls for. You need all of that in order to like be able to easily blend in with other people or blend into the situation. So that to me is very smart of Pisces actually. And the way that they can just blend in with whoever they're with or whatever group they're part of is very hypnotic in a way, and it makes them really hard to pin down. It makes them really hard to label and really get a grasp on. It can be sort of tricky to understand, to really truly understand the depths of a Pisces, just because they have collected so much. They have collected so many personalities and so many different energies throughout their whole lives. No matter how old they are, they're just always absorbing and learning and collecting, and you know, that's the life of an empath, I guess you can say. But my favorite thing about Pisces is just their ability to go anywhere and be with anyone, and no matter what the situation is, and just sort of like be anything that they want. Whoever they want to be, they can just be it, and they know how to be it, because subconsciously, consciously or not, they have been there. It's like in a past life they have been there. Again, being a water sign, they just know. Pisces just knows. It is that water sign intuition. So I'm interested to know, what are your favorite things about the different signs? You can go through all 12 of them, or just pick and choose whatever you want. I would love to know. I'm curious. Again, it was just so hard to choose just one thing that I really like about each sign, because each thing definitely just like impacts the next thing, and like one thing leads to the next thing. Yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video, this very quick impromptu video that I wanted to share with you guys. I thought it would just be interesting to share and just fun to talk about. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did, found it entertaining. So yeah, I will see you again for the next video coming soon. If you're new here, my name is Melissa. I'm your local Capricorn moon. I hope you stay and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be informed whenever it is that I post. I post twice a week. And yeah, I hope you stick around for more astrology content. I will see you again very soon for the next video. Thanks for watching.